Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Werewolf Week here in the month of October. Today we are talking about Teen Wolf. Now, it seems like pretty much for every week we've got at least one odd duck in there. This is the odd duck of the werewolf movies because this is not a werewolf movie. I don't say that as an insult. I don't think the filmmakers would disagree with me. This is a teenage coming-of-age story that also happens to have a werewolf in it. I've never seen this movie before. I didn't know much about it other than that Michael J. Fox was in it and basketball was in it. So it's not what I expected. I figured with Michael J. Fox that it would be funny, that it would be a comedy, but I thought it would also be scary. But it's not, and I don't mean that as I don't get scared. I'm just, it's not intended to be scary. The werewolf in it is not at no point shown to be scary to anyone. So this isn't what I had in my mind. By the way, I apologize if you can hear a dog barking. That's my neighbor. Not his dog. My neighbor just barks loudly sometimes. No, sorry. Distracted myself with my own joke. So yeah, I was in werewolf headspace. And this movie is not that. Which is not a dig against the movie. It's just not what I was wanting in the moment, so I didn't love it. I feel like if I was in the mood for something like this movie and I watched it then, I would enjoy it more. And it's just, it's not the movie's fault that I didn't know what the movie was. So I do have some notes, not very many though. My first note is those are some old high schoolers because everyone in the and this happens all the time. This isn't specific to this movie, but everyone playing high school students in this movie is in their mid to late 20s. And then I wrote basketball movie because I, believe it or not, you wouldn't think it by looking at me, but I'm actually a cheerleading coach, and every year before basketball season starts, I rewatch all 6 Bring It On movies, and I have a couple different basketball movies that I watch semi-pro with Will Ferrell is a big one. Glory Road I watch sometimes. I'm having a difficult time thinking of other basketball movies right now, but I watch a bunch of cheerleading and basketball movies to get myself ready for the season. So I was wondering when this movie started if this one might be added to the list, but there's actually not that much basketball in this, and about half of the basketball that's in this is not really basketball. It's just a werewolf running around everybody else. So I don't think this is going to make it into the yearly rotation. Maybe, I'll throw it in every once in a while, but probably not a regular. So then there's... And I'm recording this video a few days after watching it, so not everything is fresh. But my next note is those dang kids and their Beach Boys, because we're following teenagers in this movie, and they're not shown to be horrible kids, but they're drinking underage, they're going to parties, they are not they don't have the cleanest of records. At one point, Michael J. Fox is driving a van down the road, and his friend gets up to go surfing, standing on top of this van, doing whatever. And, I don't know, I feel like, I want to say nowadays, but really more in the early 2000s, it would be punk music playing, Good Charlotte or Blink-182 or something. I'm not quite sure what it would be now. Maybe some type of hip-hop pop. But in the movie, it's Beach Boys. And it's just I don't associate Beach Boys with rebel attitudes. But I guess it probably was at the time. I don't know. Maybe it was just a weird choice. But the things that I heard in my ears did not mesh with the things that I saw with my eyes. And I thought that was pretty funny. I wrote down at one point, quote, 2 words, end quote, and I have no idea what that's in reference to. So, I'm going to move on. My next note is, well, I didn't see that coming. So, I kind of knew that this was kind of, and it's not as much as I thought it was, but it's, it's kind of like a a puberty metaphor, right? Even though the kids in this, even the characters, let alone the actors, are past puberty in this movie. The whole idea of, oh my gosh, my body is changing. I'm getting hair in weird places. Like, it's a werewolf, but, you know, it's puberty also. So I knew that there was some element to that. And like I said, it really didn't factor in as much as I thought it would. But at one point, Michael J. Fox's character is in the bathroom, and his dad's like, "Son, let me in. What's going on in there?" And he's like, "Dad, you don't want to in him, right?" It's very clearly a metaphor for something else. And maybe it's because I've seen too many American Pie movies, but there's several different ways that I saw that scene ending. None of which is what actually happened, which is Michael J. Fox, in full werewolf mode, opens the door and his dad's just standing there, also a werewolf. I was like, oh, okay, it's that kind of move. Like, just, that's when I realized that, because up to that point, the werewolf stuff had just recently started, so I still thought there might be kind of some sort of body horror element to it. And as soon as that happened, I was just like, oh no, this isn't even trying to be scary at all. Which, again, is not a dig at the movie. It's just not what I was expecting. Then I wrote down, with great power goes a greater responsibility. Which is very similar to the quote from the Spider-Man movie, with great power comes great responsibility. And as I've mentioned in other videos, every time I watch a movie, I go onto IMDb and I read through all the trivia for it. Sometimes I do that while I'm watching the movie, if I'm kind of bored. Usually I do it after. And somebody entered in a piece of trivia saying, essentially, that the Spider-Man movie stole that line from this movie, because this movie did it first. And man, that's the kind of person I wish I could slap in the face, because it doesn't come from the Spider-Man movie. It comes from the Spider-Man comic books, which came out before this. And that's just where I know it, quote-unquote, started from. It's probably even older than that, because Stan Lee, you know, is not against borrowing things from other people. But yeah, just someone that had such confidence in being so wrong to go into the IMDb trivia and say that another movie stole this idea from, you know, you can't trust IMDb trivia. Anyone could go on there and add anything. My next note was caution wet floor. There was a scene where he's running through the school because he's starting to werewolf out, and not everyone knows about it yet. And so he's trying to get to a bathroom, but all the bathrooms that he's going to, someone's in there or something. Or one of them, the guy's like, you can't go in there, the floor's wet, because he's just mopped it. So he just bolts down the hall, and the custodian is like, that floor's wet too. And he just starts slipping and sliding all over the place, and I think he falls down at one point. And I lost it. I laughed so hard, I rewound it, and I watched it again. And that's just, I don't know. I guess I'm a sucker for slapstick physical comedy. I dropped my notes, so now I have to awkwardly lean down and grab them. So that, like, it's not much of a joke, but that was my favorite part of the whole movie. Just watch it. Like it's this serious moment. He's running, he's trying to get away, and then he's just slipping and sliding through the halls. Oh, good stuff. And then my last note that I wrote is, okay then. And again, it's been a few days since I watched this movie, so I don't know what that's in reference to. I'm trying to remember how it ended, and apparently I don't. So that tells you really the main thing is that I appreciated some things about this movie. It was not what I was expecting, and apparently it wasn't super memorable to me because I can't even remember. Even though I wrote notes, I can't even remember the things that I wanted to talk about. So that's all I got. That's all I got for Teen Wolf. If you've got other stuff you feel you need to add, because clearly I'm missing something, feel free to let me know. But that's all that I've got. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good day. Hey everybody, Sam Tom here. Just wanted to let you know that I have 2 channels. If you're watching my music content, I also have a movie channel where I talk about movies and TV shows. If you're watching my movie content, I have a music channel where I do song covers, instrument demos, things like that. So feel free to check that out. Obviously, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that YouTube stuff. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good day.